Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the ChaddyTheChump channel. And wow, what a boxing card it was last night. Truly sensational. I mean, honestly, card of the year in my opinion. Right, there's still a month to go. We've still got Inoue versus Picasso, which is probably going to be very good. But so far, that card is easily the best one this year. 4 incredible fights that kind of all pretty much lived up to the bill, and we are going to be talking about it because there is a lot of stuff going forward now, new things that could happen after this card, and let's review it. So, Ring Magazine for an incredible pay-per-view event. It was definitely worth the pay-per-view purchase, and honestly, just 4 incredible fights. Right, the first one, Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. What a fight that was. I mean, that was fight of the night for sure. The two lightweights, going into it, I was looking forward to it, but it proved to be an even more better fight. Abdullah Mason was very good, you know, technically he was sound, and Sam Noakes, you know, a tough guy, kept going for him, but Abdullah, you know, he had the gas tank, he had everything on his side, he had the boxing skill, and, you know, he was, you know, fighting inside the pocket. You know, his team didn't really want him to fight inside the pocket, but he was doing that, and he was winning exchanges. The uppercuts were very special, and a great performance by Abdullah Mason. And he is the WBO World Champion. Do some people want to see a rematch? Possibly. I'd easily watch a rematch. I bet it being brilliant. Of course, there are other fights, you know. Floyd Schofield is an option. He hasn't fought in a while. I think Abdullah Mason would probably make pretty easy work of him, although Floyd Schofield is a good fighter, so maybe it'd be tougher than I think. But a rematch, again, I wouldn't mind to see. I'll take it. You know, Sam Noakes definitely elevated. Now more people are going to want to watch him. So, maybe a rematch. Maybe we see these two go on different paths. But Abdullah Mason is the new WBO World Champion. Now let's talk about Bam Rodriguez. What a fighter. Honestly, just decimated Fernando Martinez, who is a world champion, and just an easy fight for him. He won every single round, and that knockout was so clean. A beautiful knockout that put Martinez down for the 10 count. You know, Bam easily probably my top 5 pound for pound now for sure. He is truly great, and obviously the IBF World title is on the line on the show next month on the Riyadh Ring 5 card, so he'll probably fight the winner of that and become undisputed, which, you know, probably one of the most easiest undisputed runs you'll see. Obviously that division isn't, you know, incredible, but he's made light work of every single person in that division, and he's a truly incredible fighter to watch. And Martinez was a tough guy in that fight, but he didn't even compare to the level that Bam Rodriguez was at in that fight. Incredible to watch. What a fighter. The co-main event saw Devin Haney defeat Brian Norman Jr., and he did very well in this fight. Devin Haney, that check hook was really the key to winning this fight. He caught him with it in, I think it was round 1. It was in round 1. I think he caught him with that check hook, and Norman had to watch out for that shot, and he just didn't watch out for it, and he got hit with it again, and Devin Haney landed a 1-2, and that put Brian Norman down in the second round, which was very surprising. If someone was going to go down in this fight, I did not expect it to be Brian Norman Jr. I did predict that Devin Haney would win the fight in the end, but I didn't think he'd be able to get the knockdown. But then later on in the fight, it was more of, a Devin Haney sort of fight. He wasn't like running a lot, but he was still, not landing loads of shots, because he didn't really have to in that second half. He already knew he, was winning the fight, so he kind of held back a little bit, and in the end he did get the win by unanimous decision. Eddie Hearn was complaining after the fight, actually saying it was a bit of a boring fight and Devin Haney don't want to go at it. Obviously, Devin Haney is a champion now in the same division that Conor Benn is going to fight in, obviously moving down in weight. And although Eddie Hearn is saying that, he's not a come forward sort of fighter, a bit of me does think he knows that if Conor Benn and Devin Haney did have a fight, Devin Haney would be victorious. And I just don't think he wants to risk Conor Benn in with that sort of fighter. A guy like Ryan Garcia or Mario Barrios, those guys are probably kind of closer fights where Conor Benn can win them, and Conor Benn will probably be in the favourite, especially with the Mario Barrios one. But Garcia as well, he'd probably be a favourite, because Garcia does go down and Conor Benn does have some heavy shots. But Devin Haney would probably be more precarious and, land those sort of check hook shots. Brian Norman Jr. reminded me a lot about how Conor Benn sort of fights, and I think that, if a Conor Benn versus Devin Haney fight did ever happen, it would be a case of that would probably be similar to the Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. fight, which, we saw the outcome for that, and it would probably be the same outcome. Now, the main event. Benavidez absolutely destroys Anthony Yarde in round 7. The speed that Benavidez had was truly incredible. I mean, a light heavyweight with that sort of speed, that's a lightweight speed. Honestly, the combinations, he was landing about 10 shots in a row or something like that. And Yarde was doing pretty well earlier on in the fight at kind of avoiding those, heavy combinations with lots of shots by just landing one or two and stopping Benavidez from doing it. But then, later on in the fight, as the gas tank sort of went down, Benavidez didn't go down at all in the gas tank, and he just kept on with those combinations, and Anthony Yarde was getting hurt, and he went down with a shot in round 7, the first one. It was actually, I think, a shot after he was been knocked down, and then Benavidez got deducted 2 points, but it didn't matter in the end because he then went on to stop him later in the round. To be honest, even if he didn't land that extra shot afterwards, it's kind of a case of, well, he's probably going to get knocked out anyways, so it doesn't matter whether he did land this extra shot or not. So I hope people don't, grasp on to that much, and I don't think they will. Benavidez is just a special fighter. He said he would go up now to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez, and I think, although that's a good fight, I'd like to see Benavidez stay at light heavyweight, I mean, especially if he's going to fight, Bivol or maybe Callum Smith, maybe even Beterbiev. But then again, I guess the Zurdo Ramirez fight is a big fight, and if you've been offered a lot, to fight him, then you are going to take that on Cinco de Mayo. The two Mexicans will be a great fight. I think Benavidez probably does defeat Zurdo Ramirez, although he is coming out. Remember, Benavidez is a super middleweight fighter, obviously moving up, and he's moved up pretty well, but he is still super middleweight. So it's interesting. It's interesting that he's moving up to cruiserweight, and then with the move up to cruiserweight, could we even potentially see Benavidez at heavyweight in the future? Definitely an interesting proposition to be had, and he is a danger man, a boogeyman in any division he goes in, and the heavyweight one would be very interesting, especially because, you know, North American fighters, you know, you don't have many heavyweights who are North American. You know, you've got, you know, Gerald Miller and, you know, Jared Anderson, but you ain't got these elite guys. But if Benavidez, you know, if he's going to cruiserweight, surely there's a potential that he does go to heavyweight. And, you know, will the speed be there still? I'm not quite sure. But if it is, he's going to be a danger man. But in any division he goes in, he is going to be a danger man. But yeah, I mean, early predictions for the Zurdo Ramirez fight. I do think Benavidez would win that one. But I am looking forward to that one, which is going to be around Cinco de Mayo time. But anyways, guys, what an unbelievable card Ring Magazine 4 was. You know, this is the cards that boxing fans love. And Ring, you know, every Ring event has just been superb. You know, Eubank Benoit was a Ring event, that was brilliant. The Ring 2, which was the one in Times Square, although it was 3 fights, it was still very interesting and some good fights. And Ring 3 was also brilliant, some absolutely amazing fights on that one too. You know, very similar to this one, in fact. And this one was brilliant, and I do think we're also going to get another great one with Inoue versus Picasso next month. So comment down below your thoughts on this card. Where do the fighters go next? And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.